Ask Dan Schneider. On this Ask Dan Schneider, my question is from someone named J. Estor. This person, male or female, asked me, Dan, what other kinds of frauds really annoy you? Well, I just did a video on artistic fraud. I do get angry at some of the frauds that I see online that put out bad information. I did one recently on bad writing. I have talked about politics and whatnot. I don't think the School of Life videos are any good. But even more obnoxious is probably the right-wing website and videos of PragerU run by right-wing talk show host Dennis Prager. Recently, he had a video called "If You Hate Poverty, You Should Love Capitalism," which made some outrageously ridiculous claims about capitalism lifting people up. And it's so easily disproved because you can go right to the video and see what they're saying. Go right to Google and see what they're saying is absolutely false. They claim the old $1-a-day statistic and go back to 1970 and say how 1 in 4 people had lived under poverty, under $1 a day then, and now don't. Well, it's easily disproven, and we'll show you. But let's watch the first video.
The percentage of people living at starvation-level poverty has fallen 80% since 1970. Before then, more than 1 in 4 people around the world were living on $1 a day or less. Today, it's about 1 in 20. This is the greatest anti-poverty achievement in world history.
Did you see what that old conservative dude did right there? He just did a little sleight of hand. What did he say? He talked about $1 a day in 1970 and how about 1 in 4 people lived under that. Then he says now, over or nearly half a century later, it's only 1 in 20. What he didn't say was the obvious, that $1 in 1970 is not worth $1 today. Now, if you Google, and it's simple to do, $1 is worth about $6.30. Nice little sleight of hand. But let's look at what the percentage might be if we were to go at people living at $6.30 a day. And it should be noted that the global poverty limit today is about $1.25. But putting all that aside, the $1-a-day statistic is what is being used. And let's look at what's really being said here, because this is a nice little sleight of hand. In order to be actually accurate, he should do what people were making, or how many people were living on $1 a day in 1970 and how many are living at $6.30 today. Let's take a look at that. Now, unlike my colleague, I'm going to be fair and show that you can just look up this information. It's available anywhere. Just Google what $1 was in 1970 and in today's dollar terms. So I'm giving you an accurate one-on-one comparison, unlike what the fellow from the American Enterprise Institute did. Now, it should be said that there are no statistics for $6.30 a day. You have $5 a day, $1.25 a day, and it varies. People living under $10 a day is something like 71 or 72%. People who are living at $1.25 a day is also up to 80% or whatnot. But the reality is that no matter what statistic you take, those living on $1 a day in 1970 are not just 1 in 4, 25%. It's in the range of 70 to 80%. And it's probably even higher because these things are notoriously undercount. So this is why you have people, and young people especially, who are aware of these things, knowing that capitalism has failed. Instead of being the greatest anti-poverty program ever, in the last almost half a century, it has impoverished more people than ever before, and not even close. The statistics, we're talking multiples of almost 3 times, from about 25% to almost 3/4. That's a glaring statistic and a glaring failure that the American Enterprise fellow does not want to acknowledge. So how does Arthur Brooks deal with it? Simple, he doesn't. Not only will he lie, but he will just simply evade and use old cliches that have long been proven false.
Thanks to 5 incredible innovations: globalization, free trade, property rights, the rule of law, and entrepreneurship.
Well, that was edifying. Surely Mr. Brooks has more to say, doesn't he? I mean, he just can't go on talking about shit that's long been disproved, can he? Can he?
Let me put this in a slightly different way. The ideals of free enterprise and global leadership, central to capitalism and American conservatism, are responsible for the greatest reduction in human misery since mankind began its long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Except, of course, we know that that's false. I mean, I just Googled this literally in under 2 minutes to find out a bevy of statistics. Certainly today's cyber-ready kids can do even better. So why don't they all agree that capitalism is so great? Why are they so misinformed? Well, it seems that it's not the reality of the situation, but the fact that conservatives do not do well at telling people about the stuff that is good about it. That isn't really good.
According to a Harvard study, only 42% of young Americans 18 to 29 have a favorable view of capitalism. What explains this discrepancy between the incredible results of capitalism and its popularity? Why does capitalism get such a bad rap?
Well, it doesn't get a bad rap. It gets a fair rap, and that fair rap is negative. It's not a bad rap to talk negatively about something that is actually providing negative results, as we have seen that capitalism has done in the last half century, counter to what Mr. Brooks claims. He just simply doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Or maybe he does know and is lying. That's the other option.
Years of economic research tell us no other system comes close. Certainly not communism, not even socialism. You need a system that works while you sleep. One that creates the foundations of human prosperity without central planning or benevolent bureaucrats. More capitalism, more growth. The formula might seem deceptively simple, but it works.
Except, of course, that it doesn't work, as we've just seen. As I've just shown definitively, it does not work. Democratic socialism, however, in Europe, since the end of World War II, has provided people with jobs, job security, and a lot of intangibles, medical benefits, retirement, that in this country people live on edge. People in the United States today still can die. They can be bankrupted because they are ill. That's not true in the rest of the developed world. So it doesn't work. And this is the reason I believe that people like this put out these deceptive videos. And as I said, just go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning claims.
The percentage of people living at starvation-level poverty has fallen 80% since 1970. Before then, more than 1 in 4 people around the world were living on $1 a day or less. Today, it's about 1 in 20.
Which is true, of course, only if you don't reckon that the dollar in 1970 is now worth $6.30. So saying 1 in 20 is actually saying only 1 in 20 people live on about 14 or 15 cents a day in 1970 standards. The real question that seems to elude this man is what he asks. If you hate poverty, you should love capitalism. Well, no. If you hate poverty, you should hate and justifiably and statistically hate capitalism, because it has gotten worse, as I've shown. And it's multiple sources. You can look for it online yourself. So thank you for the question.